Welcome back, traders! Today, we're going to be getting into multiple stocks, but we're going to start with the lovable, the one, the only, can't stop, won't stop, GameStop. And I wanted to go over the weekly candle close, as well as multiple indicators that are beginning to flip up that make me believe you are going to open up Monday in a very, very bullish manner. And honestly, earnings just gets me even more excited and a little bit even more jacked when you take into account, you look how tight this bull flag is playing out, right, guys? You see, this is quite literally the very end that you could have gone in this bull flag. So in my opinion, you are going to open outside of this bull flag. Now that is my opinion. Could not happen, right? You could have the world's tightest doji candle right at the tip of the bull flag. But what I think is likely is you have seen a candle close on the week of an inverted bullish hammer, guys. And in case you guys don't know, that is a bullish continuation candlestick. You look at some of the prior examples, right? If you even Google bullish hammer, I have it on my mat. I have a very nice table mat that shows like bullish and bearish divergences and candlesticks, MACD, what all that means. But in case you guys don't know, that is your inverted bullish hammer stick. Do they have an example of a hammer candle in general here? That would be your regular hammer. That is your inverted hammer. Typically, what follows afterwards is a momentum swing to the upside, guys. So very, very nice to see a weekly candle close as a bullish inverted hammer coming into the very, very pinnacle of this macro bull flag. Which, in case you guys don't know, GameStop has been, within the last year of trading, within this macro bull flag pattern. You had a fake out breakout here, and then you had a fake out breakout here. Both reasons I'll show you in Webull, but I just wanted to talk about the possible profit target of GameStop from this breakout because we are very, very closely nearing that move next week, right? And then you're also you're really, really getting close to a weekly RSI flip above this mid band. And we went over it last video, but in case you missed the video, in case you're new, I would just preface this by saying slap the subscribe button because I am here literally every single day covering the updates on this stock with passion and enthusiasm. But every single time you have crossed this to the upside and downside, GameStop stock has respected it to a T. To a T, really. I mean, you see your first cross was October 28th here, and quite literally the bottom, you rallied 67%. Your second cross, your cross to the downside was literally at the very top, July 15th of 24. You dropped 37%. Let's look at the second example of crossing to the upside, which would have been quite literally on the bottom here, March 31st. You then rallied 62%. So being where we are on the chart and seeing the indicators that we're seeing the weekly MACD curl up for the first time since the last run up of 70%. You are seeing the weekly RSI curling up, about to go past this downsloping RSI band for the first time since our last 70% move up. And you are seeing a potential break going into earnings on GameStop. I could not be more bullish on this stock. And if it flips bearish, oh well, y'all. I would love that opportunity personally. And I'm not saying that to be a financial advisor, but like shares below this mark. I mean, you look at this mark as heavy resistance. You bounced here, you rejected here. 1850 could be a potential beautiful long if you were to break this formation. I'll mark it just for good time's sake. And it would be a place where I would be looking to absolutely load the boat. But in my opinion, of course, not financial advice, I don't think you're going to get there, guys. Every single macro technical indicator is swinging in the bull's direction here after going through one of the most agonizing, long-term, spelled out, manipulated, sideways trading of our lifetime. Since back here, right? But you back here had 4% days, 2% days, 5% days, 13% days. You look at the candles of this 5, half, literally close 0, 1, 0.2, 0.2, 5, 0.7, 3, 0.2, 2%, 0.8, right? So, I mean, these are weekly candle closes. I cannot emphasize that this is drawn out. This is stretched to the max. And eventually, that band will snap. And this thing is going to choose a direction to go. And it just so happens that you are a couple trading days away from earnings with this bullish narrative on the company, a bullish chart, bullish indicators. It would be a true bull trap if this thing was to then fizzle out here. I would be shocked if you saw something like that. But truthfully, nothing, knowing market makers, is off the table here, you know? Nothing is off the table. I would like to add shares down here if you got down here, but I don't think you will, right? I wanted to get into, after I touch space on this, because this is insane. This is very bullish. But I wanted to get into GameStop on Webull, right? Because you had a daily doji candle close. We went over the weekly and inverted hammer, but you had a daily green doji after 2 days in a row of red price action, right? You went down 2% and you went down 2.3%, both on descending red volume. That is a good sign of bearish exhaustion going down on descending volume. And it is also a good sign that you have tested the waters here on this death cross, right? You've kind of weathered the waters. You've had the worst of the storm. You closed on a high volume green doji, higher than the last probably month of trading action, which is insane. Higher than the last month in trading action as a green doji. And you've kind of closed right below this topside resistance that you have been struggling to keep. Literally struggling to keep. You go back all the way. You rejected it here. You rejected it, rejected it, rejected it, rejected it, rejected it. Bounced off of it. Support. Rejected it, rejected it, rejected it, rejected it, right? So you can see how important this trend line is. And to be so very close to breaking out here, you literally, like we said on TradingView, you have a day or two. And you have 1 week within this small pennant formation. You can see how tight this spread here is. Doji, doji, inverted hammer. Doji, 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 doji. How many times are you going to trade flat until eventually this thing sends? I am very shocked that they were able to keep this thing held down as far as they are. But guys, I almost feel like this is a cheers freaking moment. I really do. I feel like we're about to get into some crazy stuff come next week on Monday. And I will be covering this live. I would love to see what happens on GameStop and get into the potential profit targets, because you have a gap fill at $28.50 and a gap fill at pretty much $30, where you could expect volatility once you breach this red line we have, which if you guys tuned in for the last video, you know why I have this where I have this. This is on GME, not only the point of control, but this is the bottom of the volume gap, right? And typically, price can use the bottom and the top of the gaps as support and resistance. It has in the past. I'll give you an example, very recent, right? July 21st, a day after my birthday. July 21st, you pretty much to the cent ticked this gap fill, faking out bulls who were thinking that this would be some kind of ascending triangle, faking out bulls with a high volume rejection all the way down to the bottom of this flag formation, right? You defended it once because bears know when you break $25, guys, this thing is going to absolutely snap, Thanos snap shorts into the stratosphere, going to $28 for that gap fill. But first, before we do that, we have to do two things. You have to break this up or this top side resistance, and you have to break this death cross. If you do not do either, guys, you are looking for a breakdown to this golden uptrend that we spoke of. In case you don't know what the golden uptrend is, I didn't have it on my trading view chart, but I do have it on my Webull chart. The golden uptrend is all-time support on GameStop. You bounced during the 2020 GME squeeze, bounced and consolidated on top of during the 2020 January squeeze, and then you bounced and used as a launching pad during the March, April, May squeeze back when Roaring Kitty came back, right? So it would not surprise me in the latest or in the least if you saw some kind of extreme fake out here into the gap fills. That would be the kind of volatility that we're talking about next week. So that's why when I say strap in, guys, I am saying strap in because this is about to be a very bumpy ride on GameStop. It could do anything here. But I just have a little bit of bias, and looking at the charts, I know when it's bullish. It looks bullish to me. We're going to have to see where market makers take this thing next week. We have the levels. We have the resistance. We know the candles. We know the time frame. We just need the chart to get a little bit more clear and paint the picture here next week. So I will be covering that. 9.9 after market close EPS. Earnings per share is what we're looking at, guys. So I am so excited for this chart. I wanted to cover AMC as well because there are some developments on the AMC chart here. As you can see, we had our couple things, right? I'll zoom out. This is on the daily time frame. That's the train. This is on the daily time frame for you guys. You can see that you have this topside resistance predating back to 2023 when you made that ape AMC conversion that absolutely hammered us down selling pressure wise. You had a rejection. So you've rejected about 6 times off of this trend. And from within it, right, you formed a very strong uptrend from April. Which in all honesty, more so goes back here. That is the more honest uptrend that you failed to hold. You reclaimed it here and then failed to hold. And you formed this more or less, you formed this falling wedge formation almost, in which you had a fake out breakdown, but I would be very, very not surprised to see this thing V-shape into a breakout going into next week with the volatility that we are expecting on GameStop and with the chart setup here. You look like you're in a falling wedge, which is a bullish reversal pattern, also getting a close literally. Oops, I just jacked that whole thing. Literally right outside of the falling wedge. You closed right below it, guys. And if I move this line around, I'm sure you could say you closed right on top of it. But what you're looking at, you saw a very, very extended sell pressure move to the downside. Overextended, right? You saw a green doji, very similar to GameStop. And then you saw a hammer candle going into the end of the week. You now need to see this MACD begin to curl up again to get you back within this falling wedge, right? The stock looks very, very good if you're able to get inside and trade within, right? The big picture on AMC, and my macro thesis that I've explained to you guys multiple times, is I need to see AMC get above the 50-day EMA. Once you do that, you are looking to do something that you have not done on this stock since the squeeze in 2021. May I say, it would be very, very bullish to reclaim the 50-day EMA. And the good news is, the 50-day EMA on AMC, guys, it's only at $3. It's at $3, make 'em holler, which is a significantly easy trend, an easy task to do compared to where it's been, right? You've had, for the longest time, 50-day EMA trading above you, 200-day EMA trading above you, and now it is pretty much flat on top, making this thing trade like a pancake. And if you are about to trade sideways into it, you could see this thing start to trade like a Belgian waffle, right? This thing could begin to rise. You're getting the maple syrup, the blueberries, the chocolate. And once you get above this 50-day EMA on GameStop or on AMC, you will see eventually it will form this golden cross as price ping-pongs between, because this thing is downsloping. It moves slower. This is your 200-day EMA. This, once you get above it, will begin to curl. And you will see, I'll go back again, you will see for the first time, guys, this happen. This has not happened in 4 full years, almost 5, in which you squoze, got a golden cross, retested it, and then you squoze again. That was the retail revolution. That was the mania that saved this company, that we saved that company, right? Because we said, you cannot kill our company. And I like the stock. I liked the stock back here. I like the stock now. I think you're undervalued. You had a double bottom formation here on AMC. You now, again, it's a little bit more drawn out and extended, but you have that same double bottom formation. Look, double bottom. And so this is your opportunity within this falling wedge to complete that right side leg. Same way you did here, right? Left side leg down, right side leg up. This is your opportunity to find that golden cross, to find that momentum. Get your Belgian waffle and rise above these indicators to let them lag and cross. Now, like we said, right, we want to see the daily MACD cross, but it is a very good sign on the weekly that yesterday this was crossing down. It was. I was like, ooh, that's not what I wanted to see on AMC. I said that in my last video. But you have regained it, and it has remained green with a hanging man candle close. Now, although not inherently bullish, not like GameStop's candle, on the weekly, you closed either right beneath or right on top of this falling wedge formation, right? That is a good sign on AMC. Close like right beneath. And that is, in my opinion, a good sign on AMC. You'd expect, if GameStop has good earnings or a positive earnings, right, that this thing could rally up to $3. Now, what matters the most is on the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame, the Bollinger Bands are beginning to expand, guys. We've talked about this since I got into YouTube. When I was at 3 subscribers, we were talking about the monthly Bollinger Bands being the most constricted they've ever been, guys. And in case you don't know, the Bollinger Bands, little lesson for you guys, are an indicator created by John Bollinger to indicate squeeze-like scenarios in which price has traded very, very flat, very extended, until eventually these things become so tight that when price makes a tiny bulge, these indicators, when you get above it, it begins to expand. It allows price to rapidly increase. A fantastic example of this would be NEO stock. I've done this example before, right? But this is exactly what I want to see on AMC. You want to see a bottom, so you need a strong reactionary candle. You got right on top of that mid-band, and then you closed above it. When you closed above the mid-band, you squoze into the top band, and now the bands are beginning to expand, guys. That is what I've preached to see on AMC. That is what I want to see. So going into the monthly chart here, the Bollinger Bands are beginning to expand, and it's very funny that the mid-band and the 200-day daily EMA are pretty much in the same spot. So what's your mission on AMC? You need to get above the 200-day EMA, and you will reclaim multiple important indicators. Yep. So we just looked at the monthly Bollinger Bands. They're at 370. Your daily 200 is at 360. Every single time you've tested this thing, it has acted like a bully. It has smacked you down time and time again. So don't expect to cross it on the first try. You pretty much rejected it here. Perfectly rejected it here. Whoops. That is way too far. Go back. Go back. Right? We rejected it here. Perfectly closed above and rejected. 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 Closed above, rejected. Closed above, rejected. Bump, bump. Golden cross. So throughout the entire bearish history of AMC, you have seen this thing act like a bully. And to be honest, I'm not sure at 360 if it's going to act like a bully or not. It might just let you right through, and this is your bull. Like, this could be your bull run. But I wouldn't expect to cross the first time. Now, when you cross it on AMC, and when you see that golden cross, what am I expecting? I'm expecting this leg very similar to this to begin to form here. And I would expect you to start to target some of these gap fills. First one being at 13, second one being at 19, third one being at 43. Now, I don't know if you're going to see that full extension, right? The first profit being at 345%, second at 579%, and the third being at 1,408%. That was a lot. But I would expect with this recovery play on AMC Theaters to be this leg. I would, because it's been so suppressed for so long. But you need to see some kind of life, some kind of deliberator. What do you call that? The static thing that you put on people's hearts to revive them. You need to see that on AMC. There's no way going around it. And my thesis is that GameStop might be that. Either GameStop, some kind of fundamental news, because the longer picture, something is not adding up on AMC. You've traded sideways and begin to form a bottom. Meanwhile, you're curling up with the MACD on the quarterly chart for the first time since back here. To me, that is a huge, tremendous bottoming formation sign. And if you see this cross, that would be the first one since in 2021 when you made a 381% candle and a 455% candle. So my thesis, AMC is not dead. It's not a dead cat. You are going to make some kind of run. I don't know when it's going to happen. It could be in 2026, could be in 2027. But I do believe eventually you will get above these indicators that matter for the first time in this whole history of this downtrend. Very, very ugly, very, very extended. So when it happens, I'll be happy, and I'll be rooting for each and every single one of you guys because you guys deserve to win after this. As I've said time and time again, the stock that we held, the lessons that we learned are way, way more important than the stock that we held throughout this. So thank each and every single one of you guys. God bless you guys. Thank you for getting up to 345 subscribers. And we will continue to climb and continue to build that bullish momentum, guys. Make sure to slap the subscribe button and tune in for the next video. Thank you guys, and peace.